This is the Lakin Chronicles Road to Recovery podcast with addiction recovery specialist Dr. Greg Lakin. Real people, real stories, real addiction, and real recovery journeys. The road to recovery starts now.
Perfect. Hey, our next guest today, I'm excited to introduce him. This is Travis. Travis has a great story to tell and that he can laugh about now. But, you know, I mean, when you look back on it and stuff like that, it was pretty serious, and yet you've done so well. So, yeah, tell us, battle addiction, opioid addiction. Let's start from the beginning about, do you remember how it all first started?
Actually, I was 14 and had like a major surgery and basically got prescribed, Lortabs. Yeah. And that was, when you're young and, you catch a good feeling like that, you kind of like it and get, you just keep on doing it. And eventually, they weaned me off, and then, it's so easy to, somebody's mom or somebody's friend or somebody's, found a bottle in the medicine cabinet, and next thing you know, you're buying them.
So you discovered you liked pain pills because they did what for you?
It just made me feel good. Just gave, felt like it gave me energy. Felt like I could just do anything and probably, boost my confidence and, just felt like I could do anything. Kind of felt like you're untouchable. So I did it for about 14 years and worked a steady job the whole time. I kind of worked for my addiction is really what happened. I worked for it. Like, I made sure that I had my week's supply and didn't want to run out. So,
but I mean, it was pills. Then it was more pills.
Pills. Yeah, I went from Lortabs, the 5 or 10 milligram, and then you'd go to, then the step is to the oxycodone, is to the Percocet, and then to the Roxys, the higher the 30 milligram.
Yeah,
I did those for probably 2 years.
And those are expensive now. We're talking.
They're expensive.
You're getting a tolerance.
Yeah, they're getting $1 a milligram. Plus. So, but this time I was working in Oklahoma City, and down there everybody's got their connection or whatever, but I got ripped off for over $500 on my week's supply. So I didn't know what I was going to do. And I knew a guy that, been doing heroin, and he said, I knew I could get it from him. I never wanted to, because I didn't, everybody says, oh, you're going to start doing heroin. And you're like, no, I would never do that. But then they're saying, you're ripped off, you don't have any money. Well, if you got a little bit of money, you can get some heroin, and you can, you can get by, you get more for your money, and next thing you know, you're doing heroin.
Yeah. And heroin's always available.
Always
available. So, And so, but you don't know necessarily what you're getting. So you got to the point then, so started with the short actings, Lortab, Percocets, went into the more stronger prescription drugs.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Yeah, oxycodones and stuff like that. That got, I don't know how many dollars
a day. It
gets
expensive. Oh, yeah, you can spend a lot of money on that.
Yeah. Several $100s a day, I'm assuming.
Easy. Yeah.
And so what are you doing to get that kind of cash at that time?
To get that kind of cash?
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a really good job that I made a lot of money. I do heating and air, so what was bad was summertime, you get a lot of money, so you can afford your habit, but then wintertime comes around and you're broke, and you have to do things like take from your job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Steal, scrap, or then you're hanging out with some pretty bad people
that you normally wouldn't
that I normally would never. I was not raised up like that to do anything like that.
So then you progressed not just from street pills, but you started doing heroin IV.
Yeah.
Yep. And did you try not to do IV at first? And
I smoked the heroin on the foil.
Yeah. Chase
the dragon or whatever they call it. But that stuff is addictive. I mean, that stuff.
The heroin.
Yeah, and I had a wife and 2 kids. I had a wife and 2 kids before I started doing heroin. I only did heroin for about a year. Within that 1 year, I lost everything. I lost, my house, my family, my kids, my wife, everything. But I remember my wife asking me, could you just stop and do just get clean and be a family like normal. And I just told her flat out, no, I can't. There's no way I can do that. I'm going to be an addict for the rest of my life. I'm going to do heroin for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a way out. I didn't think there was anything other than that to do. I really didn't believe there was a way to do anything different than that.
Isn't that amazing? So you literally lost everything.
Everything. My job, my really nice job.
Your wife, your kids were
my kids were taken into state custody. My wife and I were in jail at the same time. I got hit with what happened is the cops got called because my kids got outside. My wife was in jail at that time, and then the cops come knocking on the door. I'm passed out on the couch, and my kids are out in the front yard. So automatically, boom, they take the kids.
Yeah.
And
you were passed out because
I was passed out because I was on heroin.
Yeah.
On the couch, passed out. The wife was in jail. She was supposed to be watching the kids, but she wasn't. So she was in jail.
Did she have drug issues as well?
Yeah, she was major methamphetamine and heroin. And see, when I hated meth, I just didn't like it. I felt like there was a different type of person that did that or whatever. Well, like I said, you don't have any, I don't want to say morals, but when I started doing heroin, I could do meth. And I would do meth and, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whichever one was available, it didn't matter.
Right.
I mean, something so I didn't feel good. Or, because what we all don't want is to feel bad.
Oh, yeah.
We do not want withdrawal. That is what everybody is. You just don't want withdrawal. That's it.
And I see that. It seems like most people that are addicted, they do have their drug of choice, their favorite, the one that is their,
right.
But they will always have a backup or a secondary backup because they will not go through withdrawals.
Yeah.
So you would take
anything to do.
Anything to not go through withdrawals.
Yeah.
So it could be a benzodiazepine, it could be alcohol, it could be
weed,
methamphetamines,
whatever, just to get you by until you can
figure it out. Yeah. And what was it like? I mean, do you notice when we talk about that fight or flight and stuff like that, but just getting literally through the next 10 minutes?
Oh man, that's just the worst. It's knowing you don't have any money and you can't get anything, and then you thinking of what you got to do to go get it. That's the worst. And sitting there being sick. It's just no way to live. And I wish I would have known back then that there was something to do. There's something that can help you. You know what I mean?
Right. You're just trying to get through your day. Yeah. So so you reach rock bottom. We're pretty much.
Reach rock bottom.
Yeah.
Lose the kids, housewife, truck, ready to pick up.
Yeah.
Nice truck.
Nice truck.
Nice truck. 4x4s, E71.
Oh, so yeah, and you know what I like about this is you could make fun of it now because it's so in the past, right?
Yeah, it is in the past.
So there was some event or something clicked in your brain, and you just decided it's time to get help.
Yeah. Well, no, what happened is I went to jail and I kicked heroin in jail for 14 days, and that was no fun.
Yeah.
They do not care about you when you're in there. They just say, hey, that's your fault. So I'm on the phone with Dad saying, hey, get me out of here. I've got money out there to get me out. Well, the bondsman, which was a really good bondsman, told my dad not to get me out until he had a place for me to go as far as a rehab. Mm-hmm. So I sat in there a couple extra days on my dad getting me, a plane flight and a trip. And the bondsman told him, don't get him into rehab, in town here in Oklahoma City. He said, get him into Florida or California, North Dakota, somewhere, so he can't call his buddy and just dip out.
Yeah.
So I went out to California.
So, you were probably mad as hell at your dad at the time.
Well, actually, I was happy that I was going to be able to get out and use again.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you want to celebrate,
Yeah, I was like, oh, man, getting out. I'm going to go to rehab. And I can use, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To feel better.
So what happened?
I got out. I did use a little bit. I had some hidden somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I used just a very small bit, which, thank God, it was only a small bit that I had because...
Your tolerance was down.
Nothing. I could have easily
overdosed.
And that's something that's really scared me.
Well, that happens a lot. People go to jail. People go to
Yeah, then you get
treatment,
out.
Whatever, get out, and bam. You take the same dose you used to take, and then all of a sudden you're overdosing. Yeah. So tell me, treatment, it was inpatient treatment.
Inpatient treatment. I went out to California and did inpatient or whatever. And that's when I first got Suboxone. Mm-hmm. They dosed you from 8 milligrams, and then they did 4 the next day, and then 2, and then 1, and then, dosed you off of it.
Right.
And I felt like that helped me out a lot, but then, when you get off that, then I got put in like a rehab house or whatever it's called. And I still want to use. So, if you want to use, you're still going to use. Mm-hmm. If you want to, you're going to. And I found a way to get some out there, and I was actually like my 29th day. I had 30 days to complete the program. Mm-hmm. I got kicked out.
On day 29.
Day 29, got kicked out and slept under a bridge in California. It was actually a nice bridge because my dad will give me crap to this day about it.
Yeah.
But I was slept under a bridge for the first time, and then called my dad. My dad was a really big support system through this whole thing. He never gave up on me, and he never gave up on me. Just, always helped me through it and helped me out a lot. So I have him to thank a lot for it. But yeah, so I go out there, get kicked out, come, call Dad. Dad gets me back. And I live in Oklahoma City at that time, been living there for about 10 years. Well, he's like, you're not going back to Oklahoma City, you're coming to Kansas with me. Mm-hmm. And we'll figure out what we got to do to get the kids back and all that here in Kansas. You can't go back, because if I would have gone back, I'd have been dead.
Yeah, you'd be in the same old.
I would have been right there where I could have got, and I was already at rock bottom. I just lost my kids and wife and house, all that, and I would have just
despair,
done enough.
Depression,
I would have just done enough to say, hey, this is it. And kind of in the middle, I'd had to make a decision of, was I going to get clean? Because the main thing I was worried about was my kids, all right? And then everybody says, you can't worry about, or you got to get clean for you, not for your kids, or you got to get clean for yourself.
All right.
Well, I had to learn that kind of the hard way, but so I got the kids had been in state custody, and I figured, hey, the mom will do something to get the kids, and then I can still use, and I can, she'll get the kids.
Right.
Well, she did nothing like that. She didn't do one thing to get her kids back. Mm-hmm. And at that point,
she loved meth more than her kids.
Yeah,
I see that with young mothers sometimes. Yeah.
She went and seen the kids like one time. So, but during this whole time to get the kids, I had to go down to Oklahoma City every 2 weeks to see my kids for like an hour. Mm-hmm. And during that transition, I've got to take UAs. I've got to jump through all the hoops through DCF. Yeah. I went to a treatment center here in Wichita, which really helped me out. Mm-hmm. Really, really did help me out. I had a good counselor, Christy.
Oh yeah.
She was my counselor over there at Valley Hope, and she kind of, was like, hey, nobody's going to do this, but you can keep on screwing up if you want, but ultimately this is up to you. What do you want? And I didn't want my kids being raised by somebody else, and I didn't want to live like that anymore.
Yeah.
And I went from up down using, in treatment or whatever, and then finally, I don't know what happened, but they're like, do you know about Suboxone? I'm like, no, I will, is it going to help me or what? And they're like, yeah, it, helps the cravings and all that. And that's what, I got on Suboxone and stayed straight on it and didn't use or anything because you can't use or whatever. If I used it as a crutch, I used it as a crutch. If I did, I did. But that is what got me here today, is being able to have something like that got me. And I will, to this day, Suboxone saved my life.
Well, you made your mind.
I mean,
up.
it saved.
You made your mind
my
up, and you were clean long enough to start thinking straight. And your love for your kids, even if your love for yourself wasn't enough, your love for your kids. Kept
my confidence was so down when I lost everything. I mean, my confidence was at nothing. And then you go to the treatment. They kind of teach you how to, make your bed again.
Right.
Make your own breakfast, clean up after yourself. Mm-hmm. Do all the things that you used to do. But
did you notice that when you're on medical assisted treatment, that your brain was actually starting to kind of stabilize? You were starting to think more about the future instead of just being in that reactive, survival mode all the time.
Yes.
You feel your brain actually start to change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's the analogy of where you had, the short-acting opiates or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 4
to 6 hours, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, and then, you're just up and down. It's a roller coaster, and it sucks.
Your brain thinks your body's in distress. It's overactivating fight or flight. I mean, the primitive portion of your brain, just because it's going like this all the time.
Up and down.
But long half-life, no cravings, no withdrawals. We met.
I mean, you have cravings, but that stuff, it goes away. I mean, it's not like you have to go use again. It's a total different type of life.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Perfect. Yeah, you have a great happy ending, and that's one of the best things about all this, because you have so much energy. You do 150% of whatever you do, whether it's productive or self-destructive, 150%. But now your life is, you've been clean
for 2 years.
For 2 years. Great
I got
job.
my kids back.
You got your kids back. They're how old?
4 and 5.
Yeah.
4 and 5. I got a 4-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy.
And
I'm a single dad. I take care of them. It's tough, but there are a lot of times. There's times you think, I got to use because I'm stressed. Well, with the Suboxone, I mean, I don't feel like that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it has just changed my life completely. Right. I mean, changed my life 100%.
Now you got to.
Things have gotten a lot better. I got money in my pocket. Mm-hmm. I don't have to, scrounge up change for cigarettes or whatever.
Working for yourself now.
I work for myself. I got my master's license for heating and air. Yeah. I got that and got insurance. Got all my ducks in a row, and things are going good. And I'm just staying straight.
Perfect.
It's awesome.
Powerful story, actually. Yeah. Nothing's better than a good success story, and you.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was not easy because it's just tough.
But the people that are, let's say they're doing heroin on the street, or they're just starting pills and they start to like them or whatever. I mean, you can tell them what life is on the other side and that it's worth it, but they can do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You don't think you can do it. Yeah. You don't think you can. You're just on that one track. There's nothing out there that can help you other than another pill or another shot. But there is something else out there that can help you, and life is great.
Perfect.
Without it. I mean, to not have to live like that, it's a lifestyle that you just live, and you're in and out of the worst places. I mean, you're always putting yourself in danger. You know what I mean?
Well, you said you were robbed, and what are you going to do? Report it to the police?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bad. All bad. All bad.
Well,
but
think how much knowledge you have now.
Oh man.
Life experiences.
Yes. I could almost be a doctor with the amount of.
Oh yeah.
Opiate knowledge you have.
No, you study it like nobody else. Yeah. And it's interesting, but no, this is solely designed. You're doing this so that you can get your story out, so that you can help others, so they can, see that it can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah,
it can be done.
And you got your kids back and everything, so well done.
Yeah,
well done. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it, Travis.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Dr. Lakin is a board-certified family medicine doctor with an emphasis in addiction medicine and over 25 years of experience. For addiction recovery services in the Wichita area, please visit www.centerforchangeks.com or visit samhsa.gov for a national directory of resources and recovery centers in your area. You can also find these links in the podcast description. Thank you for listening to the Lakin Chronicles Road to Recovery podcast. And remember, you've got this.